Back in January 2025, I went to Workforce One. Workforce One is a place of employment where they assist you with your resume and obtaining employment. I saw somebody that was in a casual relationship with. I was in love with him, known him since 2008. We were teenagers. He was in a relationship, engaged to be married. That didn't work out. He came to New York. I was his emotional support. Unfortunately, he chose somebody else much younger. I met the girl who was going to be his fiance in September 2024. I was very cordial and whatnot. I was hurt, but I was cordial. How I met the girl is I had a close relationship with his parents. I apologize for the noise. I have children. He reached out to me November in regards to my birthday. I did not respond because I knew that it was not genuine. So then he eloped in April 2000 this year. And I wished him happy birthday before I found out he eloped. He did not say anything, which is fine. Him and the wife have TikTok, Facebook videos sharing the gospel and professing their Christian faith. So, after praying and fasting and having strong discernment, because I known this individual since 2008 and know that he's an opportunist, that faith is not genuine. I feel bad for the fiance for the simple fact that she's much younger and she's very naive. Now, I will say she is a genuine Christian. Him, no. And usually I'm good at observing personalities, so I'm right in that aspect. He posts a video because him and the wife are in a shelter, in a couple shelter. They've been there for a few months. He was addressing comments from people saying that he should have his own place and him and his wife shouldn't be in the shelter. I stopped the video and decided not to watch. Those people that are commenting, they're not wrong. As a man, because he's 2 years younger than me, I'm not going to say my age, but let's just say I was born in the early 90s. So you get my drift. You should have a career and your own place when you're a certain age. There's no if, buts about it. If you have to live with your parents to get yourself established, fine. But you still have your own place. Before 40. Maybe 35. So they're not wrong. Because you and your wife should not be struggling. Now, if you had your own place and you fell on hard times, then yes, you'd be in the shelter. I was in the shelter, so I can't judge. But I've dealt with older men. They will go after you because they think you're naive and it's easy to mold you. Then when you reach like late 20s, early 30s, you're discarded. Or you'll discard them once you see that, oh, he was trying to manipulate me, because that's what they do. When I saw him at Workforce One in January, I waved to him. I forgave him. I knew there would not be a chance for us to be together. And he laughed at me. I was confused on why he laughed at me. So when he made that video talking about he's in the shelter, I was disappointed because now you see how it felt. And I already had a job, but I wanted a second job because FedEx tends to cut hours. You laughed at my downfall and now people are judging you because they think you should be established instead of having your wife in the shelter. I do not think that marriage is going to last. Because my thing is this, and I was being nosy and I went on the wife's social media page. She has a YouTube channel. She has not uploaded in almost a year. She's very energetic. She's working and in college. She has a close relationship with her mom and sister. She finds somebody that's not established, is an opportunist, and will drag her through some struggles. And they will obtain a place, because one thing about New York, if you're working, you can get out the shelter and get a voucher and get your own place. It depends on how motivated you are. So they are going to find a place. But as far as that relationship, it's not going to last. Because let me tell you something. You can proclaim your Christian faith, because he's proclaimed his Christian faith. She's more of a devout Christian than he is. And when I pray and fast, I have the strong discernment. I can spot when a Christian is not sincere or their walk in God is a hypocrite. Trust me, I know, because I struggle sometimes. Although he says that his wife has changed him for the better, looking at his video and how he presents himself, he's still that same person that played me. A tiger never changes his stripes. And my thing is, I'm not saying that people can't change, but you are who you are. For example, I have a fresh mouth. I'm learning that there's certain things I don't need to say or address. So I'm working on it, but my mouth is still fresh. I also tend to worry a lot. I also tend to not be approachable. I can be friendly. If I see somebody in need, I'll help. But I don't have that outgoing person to be like, hey, how you doing? Whatnot. I'm not very sociable because I tend to like to read people and be more comfortable before I become outgoing. But I'm usually a reserved person. Him now, he's hiding behind some type of that Bible and a facade. I could see right through it. When you use people or laugh at people's shortcoming, you're not going to be blessed in any type of form. Because here's the thing. If you're a Christian, whoever you wronged, you need to go back and make that right. See, a lot of times people think, oh, I got saved, baptized, good. If you offended somebody, you need to go back and make that right. Prime example. Last month, there were a few coworkers that I offended. Because remember when I said that I tend not to be approachable. Sometimes some people will say hi to me, and if I'm not in the best of mood, I'll ignore them. God put it in my heart to go back and apologize, and I did. Because it says it's in the Bible, when you offend somebody, you have to apologize. I'm not looking for closure for him, but when I see his social media feeds and whatnot, I just be shaking my head because I'm like, Lord, just protect the wife. I really don't care much for him. Protect her, because she don't know who she picked up. She don't know who she eloped with. She like, and that relationship is not going to last. Once she finishes college, because she's going to finish, and do some reflection, separation, and go about her business. I'm glad that he's married. I'm glad. But yeah. Because here's the thing. What people have to realize, especially couples, you cannot post your business online. You need to have privacy. You got married in April and you're already flaunting your relationship on social media. You can spread the gospel, yes, but people don't need to know that you're in a shelter. That should be off. Now, once you obtain your apartment or your goals or an achievement, then you could show people the process and then put that in the I was in a shelter and whatnot, because you don't know who's preying on your downfall. And a lot of people like to say, well, I'm not ashamed of my partner and whatnot, but again, relationships are very sacred, especially marriage, and there's just certain things that does not need to be disclosed. But if you want to disclose your business, fine. But as we can see, there have been couples that been murder suicide. They end up breaking up, separating, and these are couples that people thought they were happy, and people were shocked when they didn't make it. Because again, you should live your life in privacy, especially when you have skeletons in your closet. So don't be using the Bible and preaching the gospel knowing that you have not made right with certain people. You're really not a good person. You're hiding behind the Bible. Because in majority of my videos, I don't have no shame of saying what type of person I am, that I struggle with certain stuff. I've been in relationships I have no business. I've been a side piece. I've had children out of wedlock. I'm not afraid to say that. But you have some people that is like, yeah, I'm a Christian, quote all the Bibles from front to back, and you have a social media presence, and you have followers that know you. But I'm not the type of person that will tarnish somebody. But that video caught me off guard, because it was like, it's like you could tell he felt some type of way, but he was just trying to hold it together. But I also know he's the type of person that doesn't take accountability. And that's why I wasn't trying to watch the whole video, because I'm pretty sure in the video he would have stated that him being in the shelter is their way of obtaining a voucher and getting help from the assistance, because the city pays for you to be in the shelter. It's not free to be in the shelter. You don't have to pay out of pocket, but the city, you have to open a public assistance case and they pay the shelter. That's how that works. So that's their way of getting their apartment quicker versus them renting a room and paying any rent where they could get help from the city, which is fine. But I feel like you should not even have to address that comment, because whose business is that for them to know why you're in the shelter? I mean, you done told them that you were in the shelter, but there's just certain things that don't need to be addressed. But this message is for people that think that they're better than people and mistreat people. Be mindful of who you do that to, because God will find a way to humble you. If someone wronged you, you pray and let God deal with them. For example, I'm hoping that justice will be served for pedophiles in my family. And when that time comes, I won't be rejoicing. In my head, yes, but I won't be going on a tangent. Yeah, they got what they serve. Karma never forgets an address. I don't like that saying, because it's like, that's not your place. And if God forgave you, you need to let God handle them and keep it moving. But be mindful of who you make fun of and who you mistreat, because now you're going to be put in a situation where now you're going to have to be humble. Because I knew him when he had his place. I knew him when he had a car, good job, and whatnot. And now you're on social media trying to get your life in order, but who are you fooling? And I would like to say for the females that think it's okay to warn a next female about a guy, that's not your place. Don't do that either. Just pray that that female be protected and whatnot. That's not your job to warn and whatnot. I don't get involved in people's relationships and whatnot. I went on the girl's social media to get a feel of how she was, because I am nosy by nature. Wonderful personality. I'm glad she's in college. It's just that who she chose to spend the rest of her life with wasn't the best option. But again, I've chose the wrong man, and I'm paying for it. So I know, like, you're talking about somebody that has experience. So I know. I'm not talking out of bitterness. I'm talking because I know I can spot. And I was blessed with that gift of discernment. I know what type of people, how they are, even when they open their mouth or before they open their mouth. I can look and be like, yeah, they're not good to be friends with. Yeah, they need to be an associate. Yeah, they're not going to make a good spouse. They're not going to make a good partner. I know, because again, I've been there. I've done that. I wish them well. I'm disappointed because he still doesn't take accountability for his actions. And I feel how he should have went about that was he go in a shelter. You could still marry her. She still stay with her mom. And you get your apartment. And then you bring her along. That's how I felt that should have went. You stay in a shelter. Visit her at her mom, because that's what y'all were doing anyway. Because from what I saw on her YouTube channel, she would visit him and it looked like he was renting a room. She would visit him and whatnot. Now she's in a shelter. I personally feel that the shelter should be last resort for people and couples. But again, when you're young and in love, you act on emotions sometimes. Again, I will know. I wish her well. My concern is her, not so much him. But I'm hoping with prayer and whatnot, God will open her eyes and hopefully he'll change and she could still obtain her degree. Because I know being in the shelter, although I was able to save money, because when you're in the shelter, they want you to save money so that if it takes longer for them to help you find an apartment, the money you save, you could either get your own place. So there are benefits for being in the shelter. So I'm just hoping while she's in there, she'll utilize the welfare system for her benefit and not waste time. That's what I'm hoping. I hope she finishes college, because it took me 4 years to get my associate's degree. Because when you're a wife, you have some major responsibilities. Being a wife and a mother and juggling work and school is a lot. And then you're in a shelter. So it could be overwhelming. And then you have to adhere to their curfew, because you can't come in and out as you please in these shelters. And they don't allow you to have guests. So it's like, I'm glad that she has a good, strong Christian foundation. But she'll be fine. But for him, yeah. You never laugh at people's downfall, because now life will have a way of humbling you. Don't do it. Don't. But yeah. But I'm glad I stumbled on that video, because I was sitting back thinking like, this would be a nice YouTube video to make. And I'm glad I did it, because it was just an eye-opener for me. Because it was like, this is somebody that would talk reckless with me, be mean to me, and then turn around and occasionally ask me for help. Because these men will use you. And then knowing that I care for him, asked when are we going out to the movies. He stood me up last year for Valentine's Day and took her out and posted it. And when I asked him about it, he said it was his aunt. and now you're in a shelter with your wife. I mean, I was hurt by it, but I wished him well. I still do wish him well. It's just that, but he doesn't have the greatest personality. He doesn't. But hopefully he does change. I do believe people can change. But it takes a lot of work, and it starts with accountability, which he does not have. Yeah. And for all of you all that are like, who is this he's talking about? The guy I had was in a casual relationship with him. To protect him, I prefer not to use his name or nickname. So, yeah. Yeah, but that's who I'm talking about. Somebody I was in a casual relationship I care for, and unfortunately he chose me for somebody else, and now he's going through a lot of personal issues. But when I saw that he was going through his own issues and laughed at me when I was going through some hard times, yeah, that made me upset, because now you know how it feels. Thank you for listening.